Hello, everyone. My name is Alexia Penant, and I'm director within Danone Ecosystem Fund, and it's a great pleasure to be here with you. So actually, Danone Ecosystem Fund is a fund who has a general interest purpose. So what I'm going to do is to share with you what we do in terms of social innovation within Danone, firstly. And secondly, as among the 50 projects that we support thanks to the fund, 10 are connected to some health topic. I will take a concrete example here in Netherlands with tackling some health topic linked to oncology. So a few words about Danone, first of all. So yes, sorry, I'm looking for the... So a few words about Danone. So you probably know that Danone is a 20 billion euro turnover company, food company, operating all over the world around 4 businesses. The first one is dairy. The second one is water, the third one is baby nutrition, and the fourth one is medical nutrition. As a big company, we are facing a lot of, let's say, contradiction in Danone, but there is something we are very consistent in, is social matter and sustainability. First of all, I will start with our mission. So bring health to food to as many people as possible. So you can hear that in this mission, there is a societal ambition. And actually, it connects us to some societal challenges, such as feeding the planet, such as obesity, malnutrition, such as poverty alleviation. And actually, the consistency comes from the fact that we operate our mission applying our societal vision all along our value chain. So our societal vision impacts the way we source. Our societal vision impacts the way we distribute, we transform, and we recycle. And actually, we assess all what we do through a compass with 4 axes. One is around economics, the second one is around social, the third one is around nature, and the fourth one is around health and well-being. Having said that, I will come to Danone Ecosystem Fund, so the fund I belongs to. So actually, the fund came to life from a very simple statement of our CEO, Franck Riboud, who in 2008, so at the beginning of the European crisis, said that how can a company hopes to develop in a social and economic desert. So it's in the best interest of each company to take good care of its social and economic environment, so in a nutshell, of its ecosystem. So this is exactly what we do, actually. What we do is about employment and vulnerability. What we do is about daring to develop some jobs and some competencies in order to strengthen the jobs of the most vulnerable people who are connected to our value chain. So concretely, we are a fund, a 100 million euro fund, who is working with some very small partners who are connected to our value chain and with whom we are not used to work. So what we do is that we create some jobs for them, and we develop the competencies of those people with them in order to strengthen their job. And we do it all along our value chain and reaching a general interest purpose. So this is the reason why we not only fund those projects, but we also co-create those projects with some non-for-profit partners who are really deeply connected to the communities that we target, and we bring the competencies which are complementary to the ones that we bring. And we do that through a very holistic approach, so all along our value chain, so very concrete way to work, so starting with the sourcing. So actually, thanks to Danone Ecosystem Fund, we are working with some very small farmers, such as family farmers or even subsistence farmers who have only 1 co till 5 co, and actually who do not have access to the global markets. So what we do through proper training, we empower them in order that they improve the quality of their milk to reach the standard level, the international standard level, and we help them to develop the capabilities to organize them all together in order to massify their milk. So we improve the quality of their milk, we massify the milk, so they have access to the global market. So there is a clear social benefit for them as we increase their income, we increase their life conditions, and it brings some value to the communities they belong to. And for us, we secure our milk sourcing. So each time, this is exactly the same mechanism all along our value chain, moving from sourcing till distribution. So thanks to Danone Ecosystem Fund, we are developing some extreme proximity distribution channel that provides some jobs to excluded people belonging to the communities that we target. So for us, there is a clear business benefit, so new distribution channel. And for them, there is a social inclusion through micro-entrepreneurship. Then we operate also on the well-being and well-growing, and I will illustrate it just after with a concrete project in Netherlands. So actually, as we have a knowledge around nutrition, thanks to our medical division and our baby division, we increase the awareness of the healthcare professional around nutrition, but also of the patients and the parents of the babies. And at the same time, we develop some additional services which has a synergetic effect, such as adapted physical nutrition, adapted physical exercise, as we know that mixing adaptive nutrition and adapted physical exercise, we have a better impact on the health of the beneficiaries. So through that, we develop the competencies of the healthcare professional. We foster the autonomy of the elderly or the patients, like the onco patients. And for us, it's a way to build our category. Last but not least, about recycling. So what we try to do is to turn, let's say, waste packaging into resources. So through a multi-stakeholder engagement, we are working with the waste pickers in emerging countries, and we improve their life condition, we improve their working condition, we provide them some access to some social services, and we work for a better recognition of their role. So there is a clear benefit for them, and at the same time for us and for the stakeholders who are involved in those projects, we have access to some recycled materials. So you see the dynamic all along our value chain. So where we are now, after 4 years, we have developed 50 projects all over the world, both in mature and in emerging countries. We have developed some partnership with 40 non-for-profit partners, and 1/3 of our business units are engaged in this kind of project. So it's an interesting minority, I would say. And in terms of result, concrete impact, because we do that in order to achieve something very concrete, we have 2, let's say, concrete benefits. So we are reaching our target in terms of common interest, because thanks to those 50 projects over the world, we are professionally empowering, so strengthening the job of more than 60,000 people over the world, and we have created 4,000 jobs from scratch. And for those people, we have developed a turnover of 30 million euros. And from our side, because we are business, we are convinced that we are building a competitive advantage based on 2 things. One, which is very hard benefits, such as securing our sourcing and increasing our sales. And second one, which is much more a soft benefit, it's around our company reputation and the employee pride. So actually, this is what we do, and we have these strong convictions that by developing social and economic value for the very small partners, the most vulnerable partners who are connected to our value chain, we are also building a competitive advantage, so we are stronger. Now, I would like to illustrate what we do through a very concrete project that we have here in Netherlands, who started 6 months ago, so it's quite a brand new project, and which is in the caring services area. The name of the project is Best Organ Care for Me. So I'm not a medical expert, and I'm an expert in social innovation. So I speak under the control of the people who are involved in this project. But I'm going to explain you what we want to do. So this project is a result of a collaboration of a lot of stakeholders. So we are NFK, we have Achmea, so the health insurance, UNC Utrecht, who has a research department on oncology, Nutricia, our business unit from the medical division, Julius Center, who is developing some accredited training for the healthcare professional, VU, who is a medical center, will provide some compass around Onco, and Danone Ecosystem, as we are supporting the project. So let's start from the context. So you probably know more than me this context in the Netherlands, the cancer context. But there is two important things. One is a societal stake, once again, and another one is the economic stake. So starting by the societal stake, about the patients themselves. So the number of patients increased tremendously in Netherlands with an incidence of 100,000 a year. And of course, patients have some expectation. And the expectation is to clearly know what will be their journey, of course, to know what they will go through, and to be fully involved in the decision, because it's their health, it's their life. On top of that, we have the ex-patients who are suffering of chronic troubles. So first of all, they want those troubles, those chronic troubles, to be recognized. Secondly, they want to manage and to overcome those chronic troubles in order to come back to a normal life and to come back to their work. And thirdly, once again, they want to be fully empowered, being actor of their own journey, of their recovery. So this is the societal stakes. On the, let's say, economical stakes, so the cost of the cancers is huge. But what is very important to understand is that the cost is more due to workability losses than to treatments themselves. So 51% of the cost is related to workability losses. So we not often know that. So the Health Ministry of Netherlands feels the need to completely reconsider, reinvent the total oncological healthcare landscape in order to have the best outcome for the patient, but at the best price at the same time. So to do so, they have engaged a lot of different stakeholders, the main one, so of course Patient Federation, of course HCP Society, and of course health insurance. And together, they have designed a new policy which is going to be applied. So based on that, we have decided to design a project, so this is a best open care project, in order to drive this policy, let's say, on the ground. So three pillars. The first one is around empowerment of the patient. The second one is around driving the changes for the HCP. And the third one is around bridging the dialogue between patients and healthcare professionals. Empowerment of the patients. First of all, we are working on the design of a very specific tool who will provide concrete advices and exercise around physical exercise and adaptive nutrition for the patients themselves. And of course, those advices will be completely adapted to the capabilities of each patient and to the ability in terms of self-management. So for instance, if you are a 40-year guy, the advices will be to connect to a dietitian which is very close to you in order to build a specific diet before any treatment and all along your journey. And if you are 80 years old lady, actually the advice will be much more to connect to the nurse which is close to you and who is accredited to help you to build and to help you along your journey. The second thing is about employer and employee. So actually, what we want to do, we are working on designing a module will help the patients who have a cancer and the patients who are employee and the employer to have a discussion together in order to design a joint solution in terms of adaptation of the work, but also in terms of managing the expectation from both sides for the patient. And we really expect that thanks to this tool, we will decrease the losses in terms of workability. So drive the change now for the HCP. So we would like to shift some, when it's possible, some supported care from the second line to the first line. So currently, for instance, the people make the physical exercise, adaptive physical exercise in the hospital, so far away from them. It's not so easy to do it, while they could do it with the first line in a way, in a very efficient way, close to them, close to their home. So this is the kind of thing that we will have to help to support in terms of shift. Then also, as a healthcare professional are going to be, some of them are going to be the single point of contact of the patient, we have to help them in order to establish a clear dialogue with the patient and to take into account some psychological matters. So they have to be trained and they have to be helped, and we are going to train them on that. And last but not least, of course, supporting the dialogue, the bridge between the patients and the healthcare professionals, so the nurse and general practitioner. So actually, we are developing a tool, and it will be supported also by coaches, etc., in order that they share the same information, and we ensure a balance in terms of share of voices in order to take some decision based, of course, on the efficiency of the treatment, but also on the expectation in terms of well-being of the patient. So shared decision-making process between the nurse and the patient himself. So this is basically actually the kind of tools that we want to develop. So we are working on accrediting training for the nurses and for the general practitioner. We are working on this tool in order to support adaptive nutrition, physical exercise for the self-empowerment of the patient, and also the workability tool for them in order to discuss with the employer. We are working on this OncoCompass in order to establish the dialogue between the nurses and the patient. And last but not least, as all the role and responsibility all along the, let's say, healthcare professional chain are going to be reshifted, we are working on a transmural guide. We will explain who is doing what and what is the role and responsibility between the first line, the second line, and the nurses. So in terms of impact, because we want to achieve, and we will achieve, some very concrete things. So within 2 years, those are our KPIs. So the time to develop all the capabilities that I mentioned and to implement it. So within 2 years, our target is to train 40 nurses, to train 100 general practitioners through those accredited training, and to train 2,400 patients, knowing that as a result, we expect to have a decrease in terms of unemployment for the patients from 40% above the unemployment rate, the national employment rate, to 30%. This is our target, and it's ambitious. So to conclude, for those kind of projects which are quite breakthrough and ambitious, and having a step back based on all the learning that we get, because we went through a learning curve as an ecosystem fund, thanks to the 50 projects that we have, these are the key success factors of such a holistic approach in those kind of projects. First of all, business is part of the solution, but of course it's not the solution. So as business, we have some competencies to bring. So for instance, in this project, our knowledge around adaptive nutrition. As business, we are not charity, so we are very oriented in terms of deliverable, achievement, timeline, respect, etc., etc. So this is what we can bring to the project. But we are not the solution. The solution comes from business working together with some non-profit. We will bring a complementarity in terms of expertise. We will bring the concrete knowledge of the communities that we target. And we will ensure that our projects are deeply rooted in the common interest, that we will not cross the red line. And last but not least, as those projects are, I would say, really breakthrough, they will face some breakdown, for sure. So whatever is ambition, what will make the difference is the quality of the leaders, so the quality of the people who are involved in those projects, because mixing some people from the business together with some people from the research area, with the people coming from non-profit organization, actually it's a kind of shock of culture, I would say, and the capability, the ability of those leaders to overcome the difficulties, their resilience, and their commitment to this ambition will really make the difference. So actually about the Best OncoCare project, Myriam, Inge, Sane, Anne, Charles, and Nili, you will be the one who will make the difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.